you this. Laimbeer gets in a fight seemingly once a week.
Just some fist-swinging brute.
Laimbeer hit the ball. He also hit him with about 2.
Punched people because he couldn't really play. Bad boy reputation. Purpose to distract his opponent.
Laimbeer go at it. The Boston Celtics will go to the finals again.
Some NBA players become legends for their skill, their talent, or their ability to take over a game. Others become icons because of their sheer dominance and leadership. But then there are players like Bill Laimbeer, athletes who are remembered not just for their success, but for the way they played the game. Laimbeer wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't the most skilled. He wasn't even the most physically imposing. But he was a master of disruption. He played with a level of physicality that made opponents furious. And he was perfectly fine with that. To his fans, he was a fearless competitor who did whatever it took to win. To his opponents, he was a nightmare. An instigator, a flopper, a dirty player who would do anything to get inside their heads. But what made Bill Laimbeer the dirtiest player in NBA history? Was it the hard fouls? The mind games? The endless fights? Let's break it down. What made Laimbeer so dirty? 1. The master of cheap shots. Some players build their careers on scoring. Others dominate with their defense. Laimbeer, he built his legacy on physicality. If you drove into the lane against him, you were going to get hit. No questions asked. And he didn't care if you were a superstar, a rookie, or even a teammate in practice. If you were on the court, you were fair game. Elbows to the ribs, forearms to the back, hard fouls under the basket. Laimbeer specialized in making opponents feel his presence. The NBA has always had tough players, but Laimbeer wasn't just tough. He was deliberate. He knew exactly how to push the limits without getting ejected, and he used that skill to make life miserable for anyone who went up against him. 2. The ultimate instigator. Laimbeer wasn't just physically dirty, he was mentally dirty too. He had a unique ability to get inside an opponent's head and make them lose control. He talked trash constantly, got in players' faces, and baited them into bad decisions. Some of the NBA's biggest stars, guys who were usually calm under pressure, lost it when they played against Laimbeer. Charles Barkley took a swing at him. Robert Parrish decked him in the middle of a playoff game. Even Larry Bird, one of the most composed players of all time, couldn't stand him, and Laimbeer loved it. Every time an opponent lost their cool, he won. 3. The king of flopping. Laimbeer wasn't just a guy who gave hard fouls. He also had a reputation for selling them. Despite being one of the most physical players in the league, he was also one of the biggest floppers. He had a hilarious habit of flailing to the ground the moment someone made contact with him, hoping to draw a foul. He could throw an elbow on one play and then act like he got shot on the next. And the worst part, the refs fell for it. This combination of physical play and exaggerated flopping made him one of the most frustrating players in the NBA. Opponents hated it. Fans hated it. But Laimbeer, he thrived on it. The face of the bad boys. Pistons. Laimbeer wasn't just a dirty player. He was the leader of one of the most controversial teams in NBA history. The Detroit Pistons of the late 1980s weren't just tough, they were aggressive. They didn't just play defense, they bullied teams into submission. And at the heart of it all was Laimbeer, the enforcer who made sure the Pistons' physical style was felt every single night. They didn't care about being flashy. They didn't care about being liked. They just cared about winning. And they did. Back-to-back championships in 1989 and 1990 cemented their place in history. But ask any superstar of that era, and they'll tell you playing against the bad boys was brutal. And nobody embodied that mentality more than Bill Laimbeer. Why didn't Laimbeer ever change? Many players adapt their style as their careers progress. Some get softer as the league changes. Others adjust their approach to avoid controversy. Laimbeer. He doubled down. He embraced being the villain. He enjoyed getting booed in every arena. He loved the fact that opponents wanted to fight him. Why? Because it worked. His style helped the Pistons win championships. His toughness made him a key part of the team's identity. His mental warfare threw opponents off their game. And the truth is, he never cared about being liked. He wasn't interested in popularity. He was interested in winning. The legacy of Bill Laimbeer. Won the most hated player in NBA history? Bill Laimbeer retired as one of the most hated players the game had ever seen. Fans booed him. Opponents despised him. Even other players in the league had little respect for his tactics. But here's the thing, he didn't care. He wasn't playing for admiration. He was playing to win. 2. The toughest competitor? For all the criticism he received, Laimbeer was undeniably one of the toughest competitors in NBA history. He wasn't afraid of contact. He didn't back down from anyone. And when the game was on the line, he always found a way to make an impact. Like him or not, he helped redefine what it meant to play tough physical basketball. 3. The villain who got the last laugh. Laimbeer's legacy is complicated. Some call him a cheap shot artist. Others call him a competitor, but one thing's for sure, he won. He walked away with multiple championships, an unforgettable reputation, and a permanent place in NBA history. Was he the dirtiest player of all time? Maybe. But one thing's for certain, there will never be another Bill Laimbeer.